Born ready.
I don't think that's true.
Yes, my entire life has been leading up to this very moment.
We're the culmination of your existence.
Yep, it sucks.
The apotheosis, you might say. Hello, friends. Welcome back to One Stage at a Time. This is today we're playing through Tanked Up Trouble, which is a stage in Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. As always, I am Andy.
And I'm Aaron.
And joining us again, our good friend who just refuses to leave, Jared.
It's your boy.
You a man.
Welcome
you
back.
Man.
Joining us again remotely during this time of great crisis. Here we are on the internet.
Happy to be here at my own home.
Well, you're missing out because I'm sitting on Andy's lap and it is super comfy.
That's right. We've broken quarantine.
Somehow 6 feet away, but also sitting on his lap.
Whoa!
No, of course that's a lie.
That is a lie.
We are being good citizens and following the rules of quarantine as set out by our wonderful genius president.
Big brain president.
Big brain time.
President Big Brain.
Right. So, today we're talking about Tanked Up Trouble from Donkey Kong Country. Tanked Up Trouble is the first stage of the sixth world. And the sixth world is, of course, Chimp Caverns. We're going to get to our level recap in just a minute here. But first, Aaron, what have you been playing this week during the quarantine?
Oh, man, I have tried nothing. I have had no time to play anything, but I have tried to start playing a free shooter that came out on Switch called Warface, which seems to be just Warface. It's a free game, which, yay. It seems to be just a Call of Duty knockoff.
Do you battle a giant face?
Not yet, but I haven't even made it through the tutorial yet. So
okay, all right.
Really say.
Can you even see your own face if it's a first-person shooter?
You get to pick your face.
Oh, okay.
Like you pick what your character looks like, and then you start the game. And I picked a face. They're all generic dudes.
do you get to see your face?
Dudes.
Is your face? Do you see it on the bottom and it gets bloodier as you take damage?
Yeah, like Doom.
Like Doom.
Not yet. Maybe later, but not yet. Not yet. Couldn't say. But it's so far in the tutorial, the controls are decent, and you got the gyro aiming, which is nice. So on the Switch, which helps. But yeah, so nothing. I've been playing nothing.
Well, that's unfortunate, but you're a busy man, I'm sure. Jared, have you had a chance to play anything this week?
Just a little bit here and there. I'm still pounding away at Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, brother, me too.
With a couple of my buddies, which has been fun.
Jared, without giving too much away, since you're much further than me, tell me the name of the area that you've reached.
Oh, well, funny you should ask, because I think it's the same area that you're in right now.
Interesting. Okay, so I am in the Road of Sacrifices, or I think that's what it's called. The one right after the Undead Settlement.
Yeah, so I'm actually in High Wall of Lothric.
Okay. All right. Cool. But I'm guessing you're doubling back because you're much further than I am in the game.
Yes, you revisit that area and do some pretty cool stuff there.
Cool. I was expecting that you did, because there's clearly some other stuff, like in the in that one church where there's that lady who gives you the banner. Mm-hmm. There's like a ladder that looks like it can be kicked down from above. Mm-hmm. And then there's the area with the dragon or the drake, which I haven't even tried to get up those stairs. I'm in general, I try not to have fear when I play that game, but I do have great fear of confronting that drake.
Yeah. You can get past that without fighting the drake, I think, but I'll leave that to your own exploration.
All right, I'll have to get creative. Well, me and Jared playing Dark Souls 3, Aaron playing something called Warface, perhaps.
It's a shoot, bang, bang game.
It's a shoot, bang, bang game. All right, let's get into the level then, shall we?
Please, I'm excited.
All right. Well, we have left Crimcrack Industries Incorporated behind, and we've moved across the face of DK Isle to Chimp Caverns. So some first impressions of Chimp Caverns. On the world map, it would appear that we have entered Donkey Kong Face Mountain's eye socket, or possibly its nostril. What's your interpretation of this, fellas?
Me personally, I guess so. Because I mean, like, you look at the world, you look at the overworld, and yeah, that's where it seems to be, I guess.
Yeah, I was assuming nose was where we are.
Well, I mean, like, it looks like we're a little above the nose, so it seems more likely that we'd be in the eye socket, but it doesn't matter. We're some orifice of his, some wet hole on his face.
Oh God, that's a disgusting mental image.
Well, there's a lake. What do you want from me?
There is a lake. That's true. Aaron, you're our resident zoologist. Are there any chimps in this game? Because I have previously called Diddy Kong a chimp, I think, and you corrected me and said he's a monkey, actually.
Yeah, he is a monkey. He's not a chimp. I don't believe so, unless Candy Kong is one. Because
what are the characteristics we would look for in a chimp?
Chimps are similar to gorillas, but they're generally smaller, and they're not silverbacks like that, so they're hairy all over their backs and everything, which doesn't mean anything, because Donkey Kong's a gorilla and he's got hair everywhere, so he's not a silverback. Congo Island is an island full of mutants. It's hard to say.
In conclusion, Congo Island is a land of contrasts.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Well, Chimp Caverns, we're not clear who this is named for. This is yet another opaque mystery of Congo Island, but we're definitely in another interior space here. Pretty gloomy. It looks like lots of mine entrances. We can see that future levels are probably going to be entering and exiting various mine entrances here. I'm getting a somewhat ominous feel as we delve into this world.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We'll get to the level, but the music in particular, once you enter the first level, seems sort of foreboding to me.
Yeah. Aaron, you were about to no-butt me on that, I think.
I mean, I wasn't, I'm not trying to start an argument here, but I'm just going to say this map, this world might be the most boring one yet.
Wow.
I'm
strong statement from Mr. Aaron Neeson.
I'm so unimpressed. I'm so unimpressed by it. Just a big cave with some water. That's it. I see nothing of note here to really stand out in my mind that I should remember this. It's just boring to me.
Well, that being the case, you might prefer the Game Boy Advance version of this world, which gives it kind of a volcanic feel, despite the fact that there are no volcano-themed levels in this game. But they turn the caverns into it has kind of like a glowing magma type of glow to it. There's steam geysers coming out of the floor. The lake isn't really there. It's just like steam vents. So it definitely gives it a different feel, although like I said, it's incongruous because there aren't actually any lava stages in this game. But I actually like the SNES map for Chimp Caverns. I'm gonna go ahead and differ with you on that one. I like kind of the gloomy, oppressive feel that it gives us. I like all the signposts and walkways moving around in this area. It gives it a lived-in feel, or maybe an abandoned feel. There used to be facilities here that have kind of been abandoned and fallen to ruin. So I like it. I think it's some good visual storytelling.
This should have been the Monkey Mines. This should have been the Monkey Mines, in my opinion. It's just so, It might have been fine as an earlier level, but like seeing this as the last world, like an earlier world, seeing it as the last world though, it's just so underwhelming to me. Yeah, I mean, you sent us the pictures of the Game Boy Advance one. I much prefer it. Much prefer it. I think that's much more ominous and threatening than this Super Nintendo version.
Interesting. So for the final world, you want something a little less understated and a little more climactic.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't, this isn't a thoughtful drama we're playing here. We're going through Donkey Kong Country. We've been killing crocodiles left and right. I want something. What
do you mean, man? This is practically Shakespearean. There's so many layers going on here. So much character development.
Like I don't want to be depressed at the end of Donkey Kong Country. I want to feel like there is something bubbling that's about to blow us all up, and if I don't defeat all these crocodiles, that I'm gonna die in a fiery blaze. Like I don't want to feel like I've reached the top of the mountain and I've found nothing but regret.
There are no more stages left to conquer. You've reached the end of the world.
maybe I'm a simpleton. Maybe I'm missing the subtext of Donkey Kong Country and have been this entire time. But
it's a drama writ large. The Kongs and the Kremlings locked in their eternal struggle.
Yeah. And, I have been saying all along that Donkey Kong is the villain. He is the villain. And so, maybe I'm supposed to feel like I've reached the top and there's nothing.
Yeah. The real conflict is inside you, the player.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Boys, what do you say we move on to the level itself, the topic of discussion for today, Tanked Up Trouble?
Let's, please.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's go to Jared. What are some of your first impressions of Tanked Up Trouble here?
I mean, this is a pretty hardcore platforming level. To the point that I ended up just watching a video of it.
There's no shame in that.
It's pretty hardcore. There's a lot of. It demands a lot of precision in the jumps, and it forces you with the fuel gathering mechanic to you basically have to get all of the fuel barrels with maybe one or two exceptions, I guess, in order to even make it through. Otherwise, you just run out of fuel and you lose a life.
Yeah, they really don't give you very much leeway here. You pretty much do have to get every single one, or else you're out of luck. And some of them are in pretty tricky places too. And then towards the end of the stage, instead of filling you up all the way, they start filling you up by only 1 or 2 points. So it really puts the pressure on. You're constantly in peril of your little elevator platform running out of juice and just dropping you into oblivion. Aaron, what did you think of this level?
Part of me liked it, but a much bigger part of me hated it.
Oh no.
I really did not have a lot of fun with this level at all. What did you think of the core mechanic? What is it because I think it's kind of a creative idea for a level, but what did you think of that mechanic and kind of how it's executed? And collecting the fuel.
Yeah.
I thought that the mechanic itself was a good concept. As like Jared said, it's very precise platforming in a game that has kind of loose controls sometimes. So as a concept, it's a good concept. I really enjoyed the stop and go station. With the rock crocs.
Yeah, the rock crocs.
Yeah, that was stop and go station, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. Where you touch this thing and then you have only a few seconds in order to do something, and then then you can touch another thing. So this kind of mechanic I don't dislike. So I didn't dislike the idea, but the actual execution I felt was kind of lacking, and it just made me unhappy. It elicited from me feelings of how I played, how I felt when I played the White Palace.
Oh, from Hollow Knight.
From Hollow Knight, yeah.
Yeah. What a more fun stage that was.
But I got more frustrated with this than I did with Hollow Knight.
Wow.
That's
saying something.
And Hollow Knight, it didn't even beat, but like Hollow Knight's controls are so tight and everything is so like well made and like, I'm not going to say perfect, but as close to perfect for like a platformer that I've really played. That this game felt like playing this with that level of precision that's necessary. And I'm sure that worse are coming still, but it felt like that for me. Like it was just more frustrating than it was challenging, you know?
Okay. Yeah, it's certainly a difficult stage. One of the most difficult we've seen so far, maybe the most difficult that we've seen so far. I'm trying to think of ones that are harder than this, and I can't really come up with anything. I mean, maybe something like Oil Drum Alley,
or that jumped to mind for me, yeah.
Or like Elevator Antics, perhaps. But yeah, so far, I think this is probably the toughest stage we've seen, and probably the shape of things to come. If you thought this stage was hard, and you were hoping that the rest of the stages in this world would be easier, then I'm afraid to say you're probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I kind of imagine that. It's funny because the first time I played this, I made it about 3/4 of the way through the level without dying, and then I died, and then it was that thing where like I just lost my groove, and so I kept dying over and over at different spots.
You get kind of tilted a little bit.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yep, I've been there. I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls 3 recently, so I know what it's like to get tilted on a level. Just get dunked over and over and over by shield skeletons.
Something you used to be good at killing.
Maybe, guys, what do you think of this? Maybe this stage is a metaphor for modern society's over-reliance on fossil fuels.
Hey, you might be onto something there.
That might be giving it too much credit.
Well, let's see here. There is one single bonus stage in this level. It's very hard to find. It's right at the beginning when you first get on the elevator. It goes to the right, and then it hits a corner on its little track, and then it goes up. And you're supposed to, at that point where the corner is, there's a hidden bonus barrel underneath the stage, or like in a bottomless pit that you're supposed to jump into. Zero indication that it would be there. I don't know how you would find this without a guide. In the Game Boy Advance version, you can actually see the top of the barrel below you, so it's a little more fair in that version. But I didn't play that one, so yeah, this one, like, I know there's one like that in the stage, but every time I get to this point in the game, I can never remember exactly where you're supposed to like make that suicidal leap of faith. So I usually have to play the stage a couple times before I get it.
Yeah, no, I at a certain point I gave up just even trying to look. Like, if it's not obvious, I didn't even look for secrets ever. At the end of this level, there's a whole section that it lets you jump over, like skip over, and I just was like, great, I'm doing it. I'm not even looking back.
Yeah, so you don't feel guilty about that at all.
No.
Yeah, in a stage like this, for sure. There is one interesting secret where it's kind of like maybe a fourth of the way or a third of the way through the stage, where if you get enough fuel, like right towards the end of the first major track, like I guess it's right before the save point barrel, if you manage to obtain like every single fuel thing and wait till the elevator gets to the end of the track, it stops for a second and then goes up and over the stage, and you can get a secret on-guard token right before the safe barrel there.
Yeah.
And we've said before, but our boy On Guard will not be seen again in this game, but at least we have his beautiful visage on this token.
Yes, a nice memento.
All right. Well, Jared, you mentioned earlier the music for this stage. This is called Life in the Mines by David Wise. What do you think of this music, Jared?
It ends up being kind of chill, sort of in contrast with the tension that's inherent in the main mechanic, I'd say. Although especially at the beginning of the track, there's kind of like a siren noise and like some sort of foreboding bass stuff going on that kind of gives it a little bit of a threatening vibe, I would say. But yeah, it ends up being kind of just pretty laid back, actually, just with that undertone of tension, I guess.
Yeah, it's another classic, like atmospheric kind of ambient track from David Wise. Not too invasive, but gives you just a little bit, like you said, of that kind of industrial, unsettling feeling before kind of slipping into that groovy melody.
Yeah.
Which might be why I didn't make a note of the music whatsoever. I'm Jared this time around. From last Donkey Kong Country episode. I was like, there was music in this level.
Yeah, actually watching the video helped me like listen to the music a little bit.
Oh yeah,
sure, I bet.
That makes sense.
I spent the entire time scrambling for my life.
All right, let's wrap up the level recap here. Final word, gentlemen. What are your final thoughts on Tanked Up Trouble?
Banana. If I never play this level again, it will be too soon. I did not have fun. I appreciate the mechanic. I think that it was a sort of fun idea, but I did not enjoy it. Blah, blah.
All right, Jared.
Yeah, I think this kind of level that's really challenging and rewards precision sort of exposes some of the issues with the game engine itself in terms of like the looseness that Aaron was talking about earlier, and like in a tighter game, a level like this is like my bread and butter, and I love it. But this ends up being just kind of frustrating.
Yep, I agree with your sentiments, gentlemen. I don't like, my ire has faded for this level because I've played it so many times, but it's definitely kind of loose. Like especially the segments where you're having to do lots of jumps and roll a tire onto the moving elevator platform and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It gets to be a lot that you're having to keep up with. And it's a difficult stage. It can be very frustrating. So like I said, this is the shape of things to come. So get ready for more of the same.
Is this the only stage where you're required to roll a tire onto something to use it? Because you have to do that for bonus areas and other stages, but here you have to do it in order to progress in the level, which seems a little punishing to me. That's
a good point. Yeah, it may be. There may be others where you can you're supposed to do it, but you can damage boost. Maybe you're supposed to use a tire to jump over zingers or something, but you could just damage boost through them. But this one seems pretty much required. So that's a good point.
Yeah. It was a surprising thing to realize. I rolled it on there and I was like, oh, okay, maybe something secret's coming up. I'm like, oh, well, now I can reach that barrel. Oh,
that I have to reach.
I had to reach that barrel. Oh no, I'm gonna die, and you're gonna have to do that again. And then that happened.
All right, fellas, what do you say we take a trip to? Jared, you named this segment Run-DKC, the speedrunning corner.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of an interesting, sort of significant stage as far as the speedrun goes. So there's a technique called the jump roll that we've talked about previously on a previous episode. Mm-hmm. It's utilized a lot on this stage to skip over pretty much the entire stage because this is, of course, an auto-scroller, and auto-scrollers are the bane of speedrunning. But fortunately, you can skip over... I take that back. It's not truly an auto-scroller. You can scroll the camera with you, but you just can't really do that because you're trapped on the elevator platform the whole time. But anyway.
I was gonna say, because I was able to stop it when I had to go back and get that tire.
Yeah. So it's not a true auto scroller, but nevertheless, There is a technique you can utilize called the jump roll, which for those unfamiliar, it involves rolling at the exact same frame as you defeat an enemy or something like that. But anyway, it puts you into a rolling state as if you'd been shot out of a barrel cannon, and you just keep doing that. And you can like adjust it vertically under some conditions. I don't really understand it. These are just my observations. But the technique for getting it started in this stage is there's two ways to do it. One is called crim tut, and the other is called bird tut. So we've got crim tut and bird tut. Tut, T-U-T, I believe stands for tanked up trouble, the name of this stage. But anyway, speedrunners always come up with fun names for all their different tricks and setups. But to do it, apparently it's really difficult to pull off on this stage. From what I've read, bird tut is easier to do. You set up the jump roll by colliding with one of the neckies flying around in the stage, and then you can basically fly over the whole thing. And crim tut is harder to do, but faster by a few seconds, but much harder to do. You set it up earlier by nailing one of the crimlings, hence crim tut. But if you do it that way, you run into an issue later where there's two buzzy boys, and zingers are the only thing that will kill you when you're in the jump roll state. And so if you do the crim tut style, they're right in your path and very difficult to avoid. Whereas if you do the bird tut style, you don't have to worry about them, or at least not as much. So
but crim tut would ultimately be better for you.
It would be better. Yeah. If you were going for like an RTA, personal best world record run, you would want to do crim tut. But I think even the current world record uses bird tut. So, take it for what you will. Yeah, this is one of those really, really difficult tricks to perform.
So what does it look like? It looks like you have been shot out of a barrel, like at the same speed that you would be shot out of a barrel?
So it's slightly slower than if you had been shot out of a barrel. You do see Diddy just like rolling through the air as if he's been shot out of a barrel. It's maybe comparable to like your running speed on the ground, but it's much faster than waiting for the elevator through this whole stage.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's crazy that people figured that out.
Yeah. I don't know. Props to whoever figured this one out. But now it's standard. I mean, if you want to go for like a world record time in this game, you got to master the tut.
Yeah, props to you freaking nerds.
They went digging in the Valley of the Kings and they uncovered
the code.
the pyramid of crim tut.
I appreciate it, but at the same time, We've talked about my feelings on speedrunners before.
All right, we'll wrap it up there, and that about brings us to the end of this level. So we'll be back soon with the second stage of Chimp Caverns, but for now we're going to be wrapping it up. Aaron, what do you want to tell the fine people before we finish up today?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling I'm a little bit more frustrated, having talked about my experience, relived the trauma. But I had a great time talking with you guys. This was a lot of fun. Go to onestageatatime.com for all of our things and follow all of our socials and subscribe. It really helps us out and we appreciate it.
Yes, we appreciate all of you. Tell us what you think about this stage and join us next time for Manic Mincers. Jared, give us that sign out.
Save and continue.